What's up, guys? So I mentioned earlier in my Vingolf 2 opening blocks that I kind of wanted to cover some of the changes that are coming to Force of Will. I'm not going to be going over the spoilers. They are absolutely incredible, and as much as I would love to go through every single card and tell you guys why these new spoilers are going to be awesome, I'd much rather focus on just kind of bringing the changes to you guys first, and then maybe by the time everything's been spoiled and we've seen all the new mechanics and everything coming out, I can just kind of explain which cards are good when I do all the deck profiles that will be coming when the new set is released, and kind of all that stuff happens all at once, because we're only about like a month away from the starter decks at this point and a month away from the pre-release of the next set. And so I'm pretty sure we're getting 3 spoilers a week now, so there's going to be a lot to be taken in, and I'd much rather kind of go over the mechanics to make sure everyone fully understands why these cards are good or bad, or why these new mechanics are good or bad. And so I'm kind of going to just be starting off with the first ones that we saw, which were of course the Charlotte ruler, the determined girl. We immediately noticed that there was something on the card called Energize, and another change that we noticed right away just by looking at this card, other than the fact that the aesthetic design to the card is a lot different, is the Energize text doesn't say something in parentheses in terms of what it does. You notice this with stuff like Quick Cast and Remnant as well. When you look at all of the other cards, it won't say Remnant is you can play this card from your graveyard by paying a cost. So it kind of seems like they're kind of expecting their players now to be able to just know what these mechanics are instead of having to describe them on the card, and then you can kind of clean up the text like that and make a lot more space for them to be able to write these effects in and whatnot. So the effects also seem to be more centered. So if you look at Charlotte's Water Transformation, which is an incredible card by the way, it's kind of it doesn't start from the very top. They just made sure that the entire effect is centered, which is kind of like what they did for Vingolf as well, so that's pretty cool. And then another change we see is that with Charlotte's Water Transformation magic, which is the best example, is there's no such thing as Spell Chant Instants anymore. All Spell Chant Instants will just be treated as chants, and they will have Quick Cast if they are a Spell Chant Instant. So we're not losing that kind of card in general. It's just being changed from having a chant and then a chant standby and a chant instant to a chant and then a chant with quick cast. I'm not particularly sure how the chant standbys are going to be worked out. It might be a chant that says stealth on it and then just all cards will become stealth or something. I'm not too sure. We haven't seen any examples of that. And that's exactly why I don't want to talk about the spoilers, because there's so many little changes like this that will determine if these cards end up actually being really good or maybe just kind of playable or whatnot. So it definitely, these cards are definitely really good, but I really want to make sure I see all the changes first. So speaking about the first one, Energize is a new mechanic that's coming out that I think is really good for Force of Will, and it will only be on the rulers that come out from the L0, L1 point and onward, so this does not apply to any old ruler that we already have. But Energize is essentially whatever color your ruler is. In Charlotte's case, it's blue. If you're the player going second, during the game, you're allowed to float 1 mana during your turn of that ruler's color, and that's why it shows blue for Charlotte, because her color is blue. You can see it on the very right of where it says human. That signifies the ruler's color, and so that ruler can produce that color on their turn going second only, so you can't do it if you're going first. And so it's kind of like anyone who's played Hearthstone, it's kind of like the coin. So it's essentially, if you're going second, you're at a disadvantage because your opponent tapped for a stone and you didn't. So you can just float a mana and summon a 2-drop on your for turn 1 essentially. So let's say if you take Cinderella, the Valkyrie of Glass or whatever as an example, your opponent summons their 1-drop, you tap for a stone, you can use Energize right away if you choose to, and then summon Cinderella and have an 8/8. Or you can, play a spell. Let's say if your first stone is black, you can, Energize for blue and play Space Time Anomaly on their turn 1 card. So there's just a lot of cool things of why I think this is just incredible for the game. It's really necessary because going first is really strong in Force of Will. It doesn't mean you're gonna auto win, but it definitely sets you back a lot. And so it's nice to kind of see this change. I'm I'm really hoping that I am right about it being only during your turn because I'm pretty sure that's what they said. Because of course, if you could do it on your opponent's turn, it'd be cool, like if you're using a green ruler, to just like, if they go first, they play their first card and you just use your Energize because you've already been declared as the second player, and then like Wall of Wind or something. That would be really cool. But maybe that would be too strong. So I could see why they didn't do that. But yeah, as of right now, I'm pretty sure, anyone correct me in the comments if I'm mistaken, but it's only during your turn that you can Energize, and it's once per game, and only when you're going second. So the other change was, like I said, the quick cast on the spell chant instance. But you can also see that in the top left picture where you see like the cost of a card, if it is a chant with quick cast, it kind of has like this like lightning around the wheel, and I think that also indicates that you can play like at lightning speed because it's like fast. I think they did that just to like really be safe, but that's kind of like an aesthetic thing. If you look at any of the actual chants that are in the set, they do not have any of the like lightning around the wheel. It's specifically only for the cards that happen to also have quick cast. So that was a really cool change too. And then just a few things that are like the same as Vingolf. We have like the arrow now, so it's like when this card enters the field, and then an arrow at like what happens when that card enters the field. So the arrow is staying. And then I believe the last change was in terms of the Lumia card that was revealed. I'll have a link to all the spoilers in the description, by the way, but the Lumia card that was revealed, she had an activate effect that let her shift, and so technically you can shift during your opponent's turn, specifically with Lumia as of right now. We might see more cards that are like that, but as of right now it's just Lumia, but that's kind of a really cool mechanic change as well. You technically have like a shift that can be on your opponent's turn. And then another interesting concept was Lumia's shifted side says you add a chant from your graveyard to your hand, but now that actually applies to both like chants and the old spell chant instance, because now they're all just chants. So that's pretty cool. Like it lets them kind of get creative with the wording on cards without having to kind of like clutter them too much. Like you can add a spell chant and a spell chant instant from your graveyard to your hand or whatever. So it's cool that they're kind of clearing up the text a little bit. I think that pretty much concludes the changes that were in the Charlotte thing. Other than that, there was like the aesthetic changes where the attack and defense is on the left side now, but we saw that with the keepers earlier. There was no other mechanic that was introduced other than those two, but yeah, let me know definitely what you guys think about the spoilers, if you like the changes. I know a lot of people don't seem to still like the font and the aesthetic look of the cards, but I think if you have like the full arts in your hand, they're gonna look really beautiful. So I can't wait to like see the foil versions of these cards. But let me know what you guys think, if you like the new mechanics, if you think it's healthy for the game, if there's anything that you want to see now that they're kind of introducing these mechanics that we see that are familiar with other games like Hearthstone. And yeah, definitely subscribe, and I'll definitely catch you guys next time.